so bear with me while it goes to streaming service.
Very good, thank you.
John, my video waiting for you.
I'm sorry?
I got a video, but they said the meeting host will let you in soon. Does Zoom control who gets in?
I don't see anybody in the way. Oh, here's an admin. Okay, one person is waiting. Got you in here now. We're streaming live, Mr. Chairman.
Very good, thank you, John. All right, well, this is Laurie McShane of the Waukegan Public Library Board, and we're doing our Finance Committee meeting. And it is the evening of Wednesday, September 21st. It's 5:33 p.m. on that evening. And may I have a roll call in terms of who's all here? So Larry's here, John's here, Sylvia, I have Josue, we have Anna, and do we have anyone else?
Did anyone hear in?
From who?
All of us.
Okay.
So we have a quorum, it appears. All right. So very good. So Anna, it looks like we have 3 pieces of information to review for the meeting this month. We have, I see here in our library packet, a document titled Waukegan Public Library Summary of Actual versus Budgeted Results for the 5-month period ending September 30th of 2020. And then I see here the Waukegan Public Library monthly board check detail, and that is for September of 2020 as titled. And then we have a final document here that's called Waukegan Public Library Grant Income and Expenditures for the 5-month period ended September 30th of 2020. And there's a second page that appears with a chart, like a bar graph, that says FW21 year-to-date expenses versus fiscal year 20. Is that correct? Or do I have all the documents that we need for this to review this finance meeting tonight?
I think that's correct.
Very good, very good. All right. Well, Anna, since you're our accounting expert, would you be so good as to summarize this first document here, the Waukegan Public Library Summary of Actual versus Budgeted Results for the 5-month period ending on September 30th of 2020?
Sure. This is actual versus budgeted. We are 5 months into our fiscal year, so the percent, if we do it proportionally, should be around 42%. So we're pretty good. Of course, the usual property tax, because it comes in different spurs, and we did have more grants. So we only budgeted $69,000. That is the per capita grant, but then we did get a lot more grants. Gail has been very busy. And just like the previous months, because this year we're unusual, well, it's unprecedented time, our repair maintenance is high. For example, we need to buy, plexiglass glass partitions. Also have to buy more cleaning supplies. We also have 2 deep cleaning, so that's higher than budgeted. That's higher than our normal rate. And the library materials at 46%. Actually, for that, we've been putting more into the e-resources, the e-books. We also pay some of the licensing. So that's more of a timing difference. Other than that, we don't have any surprises. You see because we have gotten grants, and revenue, property tax revenue, so we're good in cash. So
very good.
Yeah, we're good with that in that respect.
So everything's perking along as expected, given the unprecedented time we're in. Is
Correct.
basically your summary of this.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
good. Very good.
Output.
Anyone have any questions on this this first document here we're looking at?
No.
Very good. Okay, well, let's proceed on. Hearing nothing more to discuss on that. Let's proceed on then to the monthly board check detail for September of 2020. Any questions or about any expenditures anyone would have?
Hold on, I'm gonna go to it quick.
I did have a question regarding the addition of the last page, which was the grant and income. Is that a separate item on the agenda, or is that part of the check detail?
No, that is not part of the check detail. It's part of the financial packet. Last meeting, somebody requested details on, not details, but how the grants are doing. So I'll give you that. That is the financials for this fiscal year, the money that we receive and spend on grants. And I believe Gail will probably give you more detail how the grants are doing. So that is just in terms of money received and spent.
Okay, and a question related to that. So how do we know in the check detail which expenses are associated with the grants? For example, like the CARE grant.
All the grants is under, let me find one. It says other and then grants.
Yeah, I noticed that, but it doesn't say which grant. So it's just all part of the same budget.
Yeah, I can, I don't have the detail for the grants. I can tell you. No, I don't have a separate line, separate code for each grant.
Okay.
Well, in terms of the monthly board check detail, I just had a few questions in terms of what is the entity that received the funding. Just on the first page, what is this this EFT? And it's a CC and a -B. Is that the a credit card usage for the staff, for the administrators for September of 2020? Is that what that would be?
Yes, that is the payment in September. So the usage mostly in August. The card member services, that's how we pay. That's the vendor name when we pay it. So when you see the list, 6178, 239.98, that is each transactions we have in the credit card.
I see. Thank you.
You
Just
may
a
say
few more.
in there, Mr. Chairman, there are some
Yes.
for meals and food, for example, at the tune of $28.45, and that is the
Yes.
cost of 2 dozen donuts from Dunkin' for our staff that I've been bringing to them once a week. So we haven't been eating lunch. There is a $162 charge, but I don't think that'll come through next month because it was for our October 9th staff day. We did some training and some practice dry runs for patron visits and bought lunch for the staff.
I see. Thank you. All right. I'm just going through the document here real quick. I had a few questions on what some of the items were here. Let's see what we got here.
While you're looking,
Yes.
on September 30th for JB Glass and Board Up Services, what was that?
JB Glass, I believe that's for a store. Let me double check.
Are the same company that did our board up for when the glass window got broken. So just that is a company, that's what they do.
So what is that
And I
about?
believe that is the cost of some plexiglass. I believe that's where Chuck has been getting his plexiglass from JB Glass.
Oh, okay.
I had the same
plexiglass for
question,
trademark.
Sylvia. I was worried that perhaps some other accident or some other
Yeah.
incident may have occurred that, that is the reason for that board up.
It's nice to see a local business being used.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's local. Yeah, John's absolutely right. That's for plexiglass.
I see. Now on going into the document on page 5, there's about a quarter of the way down. It's number 113861 for 9/15 of 2020, an entity called EBSCO, EBSCO, for
Mhm.
5,000. That's some sort of $5,039. That's some sort of an ebook kind of a resource or something. EBSCO. I'm just curious.
Yes, we get out of the e-resources from EBSCO. That particular one is for consumer reports,
Uh-huh.
October 1st to, well, it's 12 months, so October to the next September. That's for consumer reports.
Consumer reports. Okay. Let's see here on page 8. There is it's under again 113. What's under number 113886, 9/30 of 2020. Entity called Biblioteca, LLC, and it's $12,016.60. That is for computer maintenance, it says. Would that be for the staff or for the public like computers, or is that for, I mean, which computers? I'm just curious.
Biblioteca, John, that's checkout?
I believe that
That's
that's the contract for our self-check stations. We have 3 self-check stations, and they're covered by Biblioteca, as was our sorter, but we don't have the sorter any longer, just the self-check.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the annual contract from August this year until July. That's for the annual contract and the maintenance.
I see. All right. And the very last item I had a question about is on page, looks like it's page 10, and it's number 113902, pretty much in the center of the page. The name of the person is Myra Gayton Morales for $2,007 and, well, looks like it's 50 cents for other grants. So that was just curious what that would be for.
Now, that particular one is for the CARE grant. There's another and then if you look up 4 spots, Justice Amini.
I see that, yes. Mhm.
Right, those 2 are the CARE grants. Gail High has these 2 work as a contractor to work on the CARE grant. I believe Justice, he keep track, help her do the bookkeeping, and Myra is actually do the purchasing. So that we pay them as a contractor.
Is it possible in future check runs to add an asterisk maybe to those, since there's going to be quite a few of those?
I cannot add an asterisk, but I can make another account. So why don't I just put another account and say CARE grant? Would that work?
I think so. Larry?
Yeah,
Okay.
it sounds good. Good idea. Yeah. So, and I'm just trying to remember again, what is the CARE grant exactly? That is, what does it do?
Is to buy PPE. Mainly right now we've been buying hand sanitizer and mask, and it targets the minority population, the population that has been hit the hardest in this pandemic. So we're buying, I guess, protective equipment for that population.
Lake County received $239 million from the federal government for CARES Act funds. And those CARES, it's an acronym, I'm not sure what it stands for, but it's basically for coronavirus relief And it's primarily, we are a fiscal agent to 1 million of that $239 million. And Gail has taken it upon herself to start getting our feet in the door at a lot of different organizations. She's focusing on the AACPG, the African American Community Group. And then there's the ASL, Asociación Comunidad Latino, ACL, that is receiving a larger portion of those funds as well to help distribute PPE, hand sanitizer, and information about the importance of masking up and staying cleaned up so that we can stop the spread of COVID-19.
So is it used in conjunction with library usage, or more of a community service that the library is, I don't know, to put it in this way, a host that we receive the funds to distribute to these various important groups? Is that how it works, or?
Library is a fiscal agent, so a lot of the activities and events that Gail has done have been in the community. I think that the first giveaway that they did was at the Puerto Rican Center on Genesee, or Sheridan, Genesee Street. But that's many different outreach opportunities, including they had recently a voter registration event at the Housing Authority, Waukegan Housing Authority, this past weekend, and she is involved in that. And again, those distribution points of masks, sanitizer, and information.
And not that we're looking for PR, but it's sort of recognized when we're doing this distribution that it's a service that the library is helping to enable, or I'm just curious if, that's not really a part of it.
It's more that we are the connector. We are the great glue
Okay.
that brings different organizations together. And that's been our role and our responsibility over this past decade or so, that we bring together organizations and help provide a space for them and or services to support them.
Okay, thank you. It's good to know all the details of this. Yeah, it's very good. Thank
I
you.
have a couple questions.
Yes. Mhm.
Number one, so we pay the city of Waukegan $1,038.58 for water, and that would be to pay off the bill that we owe them.
We have two. We have a monthly bill, and then we also pay in installment the bill that we owe them since the one from March, the $3,000 one.
Okay, so that's question number one. And then question number two, if Myra and the other young lady is getting paid primarily for the Latino population or Hispanic population, who's getting paid for the African American population? Or is that they're just doing specific work for the grant?
They are doing work just for the grant. And it's not just Latino population. I think Gail may be better to answer because she's the grant manager. She loves to talk about it because it's something she's very proud of. We're helping the community, possibly help people not get sick. So it's not just the Latino population; it's also the African American population.
Right.
And
so
I guess anybody
my question is, so then does Gail get compensated for distributing the grant? I mean, is there a line item for her specifically?
For Gail, no. Not as far as I know. That's a question for her. I suppose we could charge the grant, but no, right now as far as I know, she's not getting compensated from the grant.
My understanding of the $1 million that she was allotted 50,000 of those million to hire people to. I'm not sure if it's exactly 50,000, but there's a dollar amount that she's allowed to go up to in order to pay people to help administer the grant and make sure all the bills are paid and all the invoices are sorted, because it's a lot of finance work that Anna shouldn't necessarily do.
So I guess my question is, if we're using library staff to administer these funds, what's the benefit of the library being involved?
I believe it's for the foot in the door. It's for the opportunity to say that we're the ones that are tying all these different AACPG and the ACL together. And we're helping to make sure that those portions of the community that are greatest affected by COVID-19 are addressed and informed.
And I get that, but we're spending our Waukegan dollars to administer that grant. Just a thought. We don't have to spend time on that. I mean, it's just a thought. Okay, those are my two questions.
I had a similar, that's where I was sort of going with my question too. I was just wondering how, not that we want to use this terrible situation we're in to do PR, but somehow to connect what we're doing here with a community service that we're helping provide as the Waukegan Public Library. So, I mean, that's kind of what I'm hearing you say, Sylvia, too, sort of that same kind of, thinking, which I think it's a reasonable point of view. Yeah, I think so too. Very good. Well, anything else then on this monthly detail for expenditure there here for September of 2020 that anyone else has any questions about?
I'm good.
All right, very good. Very good. Well, hearing nothing more on this, then Anna, and Josue had mentioned this too, there's that last document that has the grant income and expenditures ending on September 30th. You're saying that this is best discussed by Ms. Graves. Did you say that's who would better understand this?
She can explain Gail can explain the grants more, but I can tell you the numbers. The grants, many of the grants cover different periods. So this is just for this fiscal year. For example, the census, it looks like we received more money than we spent, but it's not, because some of the money we received this year, we spent it last fiscal year, because that grant is on reimbursement basis. But we never spend, more than, on a grant, we don't spend more than we're gonna get.
I think for the sake of information, I'd ask Gail and Anna to put together a brief explanation of our grants and what we have coming in to the library in terms of grants. That the library is very well supported by grants, but just to know how voluminous the grant funding is, and if that disappeared or dried up, we would be in a difficult spot. So, but the point is that we are very well funded by grants. And I wanted to help the board understand to the tune of how much a year and to the tune of what departments and what programs are dependent upon that. And secondarily, we have lost Josue from the meeting, so it's no longer do we have quorum until he can tune back in. So no action should be taken, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for alerting us.
Barry, can I
yes.
say, it looks like we're $30,000 in the hole for the two grants, the Church of the Holy Spirit and for the Secretary of State Literacy grant. So it looks like we have $30,483 that we have already spent. Do we anticipate those funds coming in soon, Anna?
Yes, the Secretary of State, that grant always come in late because the states, they have different fiscal year than we do, but it always come in late. But we will always get, they're pretty reliable that way. Church of the Holy Spirit, we did receive money last year, but it's last fiscal year. So we're not, that's what I'm saying, that's what I was explaining earlier. It looks like we're in the hole, but we're not. Some grants, like the Secretary of State, they're always behind. But some of the grants, you spend first, and you apply for reimbursement. But ultimately, they come out even.
Okay, so the Church of the Holy Spirit is something that we will ask them to pay us after the money has been spent?
No, that money we received last fiscal year.
Oh, okay. So have we spent all of that money?
That I don't know. I don't think so. And we don't have that much expenses on there. I think the grant is only like $10,000, $5,000 each time, and it's strictly for literacy.
Okay. Could you look that up for the next meeting?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay.
Now, Anna, the bar graph that is associated with this, with what we're talking about in terms of the grants, is that what the bar graph represents?
No, the bar graph, someone also requested this,
Uh-huh.
comparing year to year, the prior year to this year. So if the red is what we're spending this year, and the
Yes.
green is last year. One item that's not in here are the salary-related expenses, because that is majority of our expense, and they're into like 1.2 million. So if I put it in, I wouldn't have any bars left, because the bar is proportion. So that's why salary-related expense is not there.
So what's the difference between last year and this year?
The salary, last year at this time, it was 1.2 million, 1.205. This year is 1.221. The increase is not in salary. The increase is in the healthcare and IMRF.
Wow. So is this as of this time last year? Let's see. Or is
Yes.
it total from last year?
No, it's this time, the same 5 months up to September.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, thank you for doing the graph, Anna. Thank you.
We're really
Yeah.
up as far as spending this year.
Yeah.
Services, capital.
Items. Do you have question in any of the items?
Well, library materials is the highest, but if we're doing a lot of our work, or does that would be the E-type resources, versus books? Is that why it would be, because we're having to spend more on the non-physical, like books with pages in it, but more electronic, high tech kinds of reach outs for our community?
Yes, we're spending more in e-resources. We also pay
Resources.
some expense that we didn't pay at this time last year. We also add, one of them is the innovative. That is for. Oh, help me out here, John. Innovative
is our card catalog, Sierra. It's our card catalog and our check-in, check-out system, etc. And a lot of those bills also have come due, and so they're yearly contracts, and some of them are very large. As an example, we pay $30,000 a year for LinkedIn, which is an interlibrary collaborative sharing platform to the tune of about $30,000 a year.
So administrative services, what is that, Anna?
That is everything administrative without salary. The increase in administrative services mainly is in legal fees.
That's what I was thinking. Okay. Okay.
All right. Anyone else have any other questions about any of this we've looked at tonight? Is Josue back, John, or not?
No.
He had another commitment at 5 minutes.
Oh,
late,
okay,
so
all right.
He's out.
Well, then
He'll
we
be
can
back
really
hopefully for
take
our
no
board meeting.
formal action to accept this, but we can't, but I will present this to the board, of course. And Anna, of course, would you be able to help summarize this with our board meeting? That's so helpful when you're able to, just go over some of the highlights of all this. I would ask you to help me with that because and we would just go over, but everything is, from what I'm seeing here, everything appears to be in good order, given again, the unusual circumstances we're in with the pandemic. Looks like we're doing well. So
So Larry, for the meeting, will you move that we accept the financials as printed?
I will. That is my plan. Mhm.
Got it. Okay.
Mhm.
Good job,
All
Larry.
right. Well, I hearing nothing more. We can adjourn. It's about 6:01, 6:04. All right, very good. So we'll hopefully see everyone at the meeting at 6:30.
Yes, you will.
All right.
Thank you,
Bye,
Larry. Thank you,
Carol.
Sylvia. Thank you,
bye.
Anna.
Thank you.
Thank